It should just be.
Nothing is real.
That's the episode. They feeling good.
Just go for it.
Greetings, y'all. Welcome to another week on the Cosmic Cast. I am Mother A.
Yeah, you got it.
Y'all ready? I thought I said that a few times.
I heard the. I was like, let's go.
Oh, okay.
It was the mother call.
Yeah.
It was the mother call. We was ready. I'm not about to We in that thing to win that.
Chop
thing.
that. Chop that. I know you can't enlarge, but we're going to just run that back.
Scratch that reverse.
Greetings, Earthlings. Welcome back to another week on the Cosmic Cast. I am Mother Alien. Earthlings call me E. We are here with the Cosmic Crew and the Cosmic Crewmates. We got our guy, Victor E.
Deal, y'all. What's the deal? I'm Victory. Thanks for having me.
And we got our Cosmic Crew member, Drex.
Nice to see you all again, as always.
And holding it down for the ladies is the beautiful Mimi Soul.
Nice to be here another week. I'm excited.
She sounds like Tony Braxton. And we got our guy, Chef.
What's poppin' with y'all? All my clothes, I missed y'all, man. How y'all been? You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
All right, y'all. So this week I got a question. For you. So, how do you define reality?
In a simple way, or like we diving deep?
Let's start simple and then get deeper. I heard that's the best way to go.
Alright, everybody go like this. Squeeze.
Okay.
That's
It's a simple test, yeah.
So,
pinch yourself.
so the fact that we're awake.
Yeah, you know how like if they say if you're dreaming, pinch yourself, see if you're awake.
Okay, we'll take it.
Hey, you said surface. I'm trying to get you the most surface.
That was
one.
good.
That was good. We
You
take
did.
it. We take it. Okay, Mimi. So, what is reality?
What is reality? From my perspective, I think it's like a real complicated video game.
Okay.
Real complicated video game. That's my answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you pinch yourself for reality and you play games. Okay, so
Hey, that's
Drake,
what I'm saying, guys.
what is reality?
I mean, like, the concept of reality, you know? I mean, I think it's literally nothing. Reality is nothing because for it to be nothing means it's everything at the same time, because for what is nothing, it's something inherently. Because if it's able to be described, it's something, right? So nothing is technically what everything is, but it is at the same time, like that's the ultimate is nothing.
I'm laughing because that's the type of answer that you respond. Like, it made sense. I love it, but it breaks my brain every time.
If y'all haven't met the crewmate Drex, this is like our tech guy. He's our
That makes sense.
input, output, logical, not logical, think on a bigger matrix. I'm not even going to say scale. Y'all meet Drake's TV.
I'm not real,
You got the double shit.
but I'm also not real. I don't know what that means either, by the way.
All right, so Victor, what do you think reality is?
For me, I consider reality to just be the ability to interact with the world around us, right? Just our five senses, all of that. So that's reality for me. That's kind of how I look at it. Just to keep it simple, you know.
Okay, so we keeping it simple. I'm surprised. I wonder if it's because one person kind of said reality as like a physical thing, that everybody's simple answer went to the physical. Because my definition of reality personally, I have the Webster's pulled up, but my definition of reality is what we see to be true, what we see to be real.
That's interesting.
Because if I don't see it to be real, can it be in my reality? Does it exist, really?
What if it? Yeah. Because what if it affects you still?
Then it exists. But if it doesn't affect her, it doesn't exist. COVID was
Right.
a great example of that.
So I don't talk about relationships much on this, but I have this thing where I say, if my man is cheating on me, don't tell me because I don't want to know. I don't want things to be messed up because once I know, regardless if the cracks are in the glass, so I don't even want it to be a part of my reality.
So you want to stay in the matrix?
Yeah, I want to
Stay in
stay
the
in
matrix.
Personal matrix.
Yeah, so I define reality as what is to be true. It's not even a physical thing.
Aha, but there are rules. So even though we all have our own reality, there are rules. So if something in your reality is out of balance, it's going to attract other out of balance things just because you don't choose to see something happen. You know what I'm saying? And that goes in any regard, not just your relationship. So, because reality got rules. So that's interesting, though.
But if it has no effect on me,
It ultimately does, because the energy don't lie. The energy that runs this system we live in don't lie. So it affects things, ripple effects.
so if you go home and you tell your sister, "Good job, honey," I'll never know that you'll do that.
Right.
It don't affect me.
No. Yeah.
So it won't have any 6th degree. It won't have any effect on me.
That's the
You
big
could do it. You could not do it. I don't know. It's not in my reality. It don't exist. I wouldn't have thought about it. But if I was the type to be in everybody's business, I bring a lot of other people's reality into my reality.
That's true.
I think information is proven to be energy at that point because if you think about it, that means you don't want to take in that energy because it's going to alter the systems that are within you and how you operate on a daily basis. That sort of, I feel like that's kind of like a way to put it.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I like that.
Well, y'all know I think everything is energy. I think we are energy. Like, I don't think we are here.
But you can also shift reality too from your like aspirations. Like once you like like when y'all decide when you decide you want to be somewhere or like a certain space, and like once you decide that's what you want for yourself, that's what you envisioned as reality, so it can get warped too, even without things that you don't see when you can't pinch. I'm bringing it deeper. You bringing out the ankle breakers.
Okay, hold on. We
Yeah.
listening.
We got a game. We
listening because reality isn't real. Like, I feel Drake's. It's not real. Like, we're all on different frequencies that, like, our energy, we have too much control for it to be a reality, an overall reality.
I can't. So, to be honest, like, just use an example. Like, if you think about it, just you take a human being, right? We're walking around, we're just doing our human stuff, and there's a tree over here. And the tree, as we all know, it creates oxygen by receiving carbon dioxide, goes through that whole process, right?
Right.
When you were born, that was automatically happening for you, right? You were receiving oxygen from that tree or whatever source general, right? I say that to say that everything, we all know everything is connected in a way, right? But everything, it's connected to the point where one thing uses another. It's all mutual, right? But it keeps happening over and over and over again. This is what we usually call, like, life circles and stuff like that. Like, I don't know. I'm having trouble kind of describing what I want to say, but I really think that our five senses are specifically adapted to. I mean, you could feel the wind blow across your skin. You can identify who you're listening to walking in the hallway. Like you could tell the difference between a specific family member. Those little things are specifically shaped to our world. You know what I'm saying? Like we're automatically the fact that you can hear X amount of frequencies or see X amount of colors, like that is a reality, right? Now that's the physical, but the way you interpret it inside your mind, that's where you get to the internal side of it. You know, everything does have two sides of the story. It's a flip side of the coin. So of course you got the physical world, but then you've also got the internal world where you're like, okay, this is what I'm seeing. This is what I've identified this as. This is what I've learned about this piece of material. This is, you know, now I know that this is a table. Now I know that these are microphones, a laptop. I understand now because of what I've learned. But you can feel it. You understand what I'm saying? Like
So, which reality rules? Because there has to be one. Because my mental controls my physical. There's people who can lift tons of weight because they control their mental. They like you. That's why I said when you talk about reality, we can script our own. That's why we have manifestations. We have different meditations that we can bring things about. We have, some people have rituals, praying, things like that.
So I feel like these things, again, are natural tools to use the world around us, right? You have a feeling about something. That feeling creates a thought in your mind. That thought produces an action. That action is physical. The result of that action is also physical, but the feeling and the thought, those are internal. So it's a balance between the two, right? It's because one creates the other, but does that make sense?
That's what I was about to say. I think reality is when those things come into balance. When the physical and the non-physical, you making things happen, you know what I'm saying, in accordance to and in balance with both. You know what I'm saying? That was perfectly stated though. Like you good with words, my man.
I just want to go into our physical, right?
Okay.
So we discussed dreams before, right? And one of the things that we've said, because I want to put this in another context, is like when you dream, you turn into, or you're living another life in that other dream, right?
I've never heard of that. Nobody's ever said it that way to me, and I like that. So. I'm curious.
When you dream, you're living another life. You know, we had some testimonies as to how people were completely different people. I believe you gave one, Mimi.
Yeah.
And our crew member, Tonio, gave one. And we speak of the physical, like pinching and things like that, and hey, are you awake? But are you awake?
Hey, you can go on autopilot. Now you brought that up. You can be awake and not hear.
Greetings, y'all.
Yeah, like you get. I believe like we all got the power. Not like saying like superpower or whatever. Like, because to me, superpowers is like invisibility, you can fly. Like anything that's like feasible to the human mind. Sorry, it's not a superpower to me if it's like feasible. But you can be here and not here if you need time to like speed up. Like I feel like to kind of use like an extreme example, I feel like when people go to jail, like I feel like they go on autopilot. To like once they hit a point, like I feel like you naturally go on autopilot till time speed up to that point where it's like, okay, I'm ready to like do this. And like I feel it's kind of like the same concept of like when your body go into shock and like, you know, people call it, you going cuckoo, like you out of there, like, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like your body does that in like a survival mechanism. It got to shift your reality because like maybe panic or whatever, your nerves might lock down if it didn't or something like that. I don't know. Yeah.
Right, so you're not really awake.
No. Like you're here, but you're not here.
You're here, but you're not here.
It's both. There's never either or. It's always both.
I do want to point out how natural that happens, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I do want to point out that just again, we're made for this world. You know, that happens so naturally that it's not even a phenomenon anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, we know scientifically that these things happen. Like, this is a human body.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So do y'all think reality is scientific?
Nah, it's a medium.
It's a medium.
Yeah,
What do you mean by that?
like reality. It's a medium. Like you have the virtual medium.
Okay.
You know, like physical, or I guess maybe a channel. You know, medium or channel, same. Yeah, actually, it's the same. Yeah, it's a medium.
They have AI though.
There is a. They're definitely real. They definitely do things.
I definitely think they exist on the plane that our souls exist on. You know what I'm saying?
Greetings.
I believe that we're in this vessel. You know what I'm saying? Like, almost like a spaceship to traverse time and space in this earth realm. So our souls are in there driving this, and the stronger you get with your spiritual practices or whatever, you get better at controlling that physical and non-physical realm and making heaven on earth or your dreams come true or however you want to put that. So, yeah. That's why I say really complicated video game.
So,
You gotta level
we
up. You gotta get your
So
XP.
we do believe in the physical. We definitely believe in the physical, but we control what we do in our physical being.
And yeah.
I think, like, to me, it's like time is such a doozy when you factor that into physicality, because it's like, in my head, when I think about a multi-dimensional creature, multi-dimensional conscious entity, it's like I'm thinking on the levels of time scales that are completely outside of us, and to the degree where they're able to, like, do things that are just, like, to us, like, incomprehensible, whether it's like living for ages and not seemingly to age a bit, like, or these things that seem, whoa, what is the science behind, but they're just working on a different scale. It's like the simple flip of a switch, like
Yeah.
the simplest flip of the switch. And for us, I think part of that, we see that even when possibly death comes, you know, where the simple switch of life and death, it's actually just two sides of the same coin, where it allows us to travel in that axis, but we wouldn't normally be able to because of the gross matter, the energy that we are harboring in that moment.
So that was interesting that you brought up life and death, because my next thing I was going to bring up is, do we really die?
It depends on what you define as we, because someone that's so attached to their body consciously might go somewhere else than someone consciously attached to some other place, because it's, and if you, not if you necessarily think about it, but thinking about the mental construct of the universe, right, and how, you know, when science discovered that our universe almost looks like a net of a neural network in a brain, it's very interesting to think of, what if we could tap into that higher, and when I say higher, it sounds bigger, but it's in reality it's going to be bigger, of course, because the awareness has grown. And what if you create your consciousness to fit the pattern that is the size of a universe? Maybe that's some form of evolution that our
My
consciousness
guy is
goes
a
through.
scientist.
Listen, I'm so excited. This is what Seven Bomar speaks on, because he talks about, so like, you know how the Egyptians say you gotta weigh your heart, and it has to be like lighter than a feather, and then you can get through to the next life. Mm-hmm. Well, Seven expanded on that, and he talks about how when you, some people die, some people ascend, like what you were saying, it's different concepts. And so when you ascend and you get to go through, you're going through a passageway in your neural network. And you have to be small enough to fit through that and light enough to fit through that. If you're heavy and dense, you got to come back. You're going to go to the light, and you got to come back in to another incarnation. So, yeah, you need to listen to him. But, yeah.
No, I like
yeah.
the sound of that, sure.
Oh, okay. But, yeah.
So
that would mean that reality is a lot of different things. It could be.
She had to shrink so she's small enough to get through.
It's in all, because it's in a lot of the movies and stuff.
Cause you know those what are those called? Those aren't fairy tales. Those parables. Oh,
Yeah, they're
stories.
kind of like
Fable.
Fables.
I think they're like psychological mind.
The older stories, like
Yeah, they
Alice
are.
in Wonderland, they all have more meaning to them, and that's what that reminded me of. Like,
Yeah,
I haven't really heard of that myself, but it did remind me of, okay, so I gotta be small enough.
you
I
got the
gotta
right
be
idea. Yeah,
light enough. Like she was having to jump on things, and she
That-
wasn't.
I honestly never thought through it like that. But I always thought about Alice in the rabbit hole. But then when you start going into the whole getting smaller and getting lighter and stuff, that would be traversing time and space. 'Cause she had to get, in some places she had to be bigger, in some places she had to be smaller. And I think that's the nature of getting
Y'all
through this
don't
thing.
know. I
Listen.
watched my Alice in
Hold on.
Wonderland. We do
That
it.
went places.
Y'all know I'm about to get into my cosplay stuff. Alice might be on the list. She might be on the list.
Can I tell a story?
Sure.
Go ahead, Chef.
Hey, all right, side break. I used to be scared as shit of Alice Wonderland. The Cheshire Cat.
This shit.
Yo, as a kid, like,
Are
y'all want
you
to talk about
serious?
reality, fam? I used to just...
Cheshire Cat,
I used to be
Cheshire,
scared as hell.
Cheshire.
Yo, like, I
How
used
you
to think,
say
like,
that?
the big...
Cheshire?
The Cheshire Cat, you know, the
It's
big
the
ass
Cheshire
grin. I
or
used to
the
think I was gonna see that. Like, it's just
Bro, in the mirror, like in the mirror,
Nah,
I
it's
used to
just
think
like
it
it, like
was just gonna
in the
pop up.
room, like you know, like when it got dark as a kid, I thought like, yeah, you know,
Shit
Yeah,
trying
yeah.
to pop out in that corner
I
real
agree.
quick.
That fear. I
yeah.
second that fear.
It wasn't like
That
no
cat,
like
though,
friendly
that
grin.
cat, yeah,
you know?
no, he just popped up anywhere, but I don't like cats as it is, so there's
Right?
But yeah, so I don't personally think that we die. I think our energy is transferred. Ascend or descend, you're not dying. You're just kind of even if it's not reincarnation, you're kind of repurposing yourself. Whether you're doing things in hell, because y'all know how I'm non-denominational, you're repurposing your life to do bad things, and if you're in heaven, you're repurposing your life to celebrate. By the way it go, you don't die.
So you answered my question. You didn't answer. You answered it.
What was your question?
I was gonna say, what do you feel about like the social norm of like what's socially considered like a bad person? What do you feel happens with like?
I do have a quick question before, real quick, because I wanted to ask, because I noticed, like, when you guys bring this topic up, as far as, resurrection, there's always the concept of ascension versus descension, right? Which leads me to ask, what about the possibility of not necessarily an ascension or a descension, but just a general reincarnation? What happens to those people that don't necessarily have, the, how do I phrase it?
You're not gonna
the
know.
background to suggest that. You know what I mean? Because that is a concept that is really religious based. You know what I'm saying? The concept of an ascension or a descension. That's the heaven or a hell, or sort of punishment. Where is there room for, not necessarily it being a punishment, but sort of like a waiting room?
So-
is that a concept?
No, there
So
is.
big.
They call it.
Earth?
What is it? No.
Nah,
That too. Yeah, limbo. When you're in limbo, it starts with a P though.
But the things that
Purgatory.
Purgatory.
Well, no, that was also
But
his
that's a
own hell
religious
too.
you
concept.
gotta
That's-
believe in that to go to purgatory. Like the people that's like no knock to my homies who only believe in science, like on Napoleon Dynamite. But like if you only believe in science and you don't believe like you go to any other place, when you die, you just 6 under. Like that's it, because that's what you believe in. Like that's what the construct is. It doesn't go nowhere else. Now to the people who believe like my body will decompose and become one with nature and the world and the universe, that's deeper than like there are some people who believe, like truly believe, when you die, that's just it. You're just gonna sit there, and that's just it.
But there's still an energy. What?
So like,
Once your life force gone, it ain't no energy in a corpse.
but just like your body goes back to the earth, your spirit goes back to what's considered as the cosmic mother or the ether or whatever. It has to go somewhere. Your
If
spirit.
you don't believe in
But
nothing,
if you don't
I'm not
believe
saying
in
I don't
nothing,
believe in anything.
I don't
I'm
know
saying to
now.
those who believe in
If
nothing.
somebody, even if they say they don't believe in nothing, they believe in something. But as far as purgatory and things of that nature, I understand what he's saying. If they don't have a concept of that, what happens to spirits and souls that don't make it anywhere is they're here in the ether. And a lot of souls are waiting for bodies. So if someone, and they possess their ancestors, like if you have an ancestor that used to drink a lot and you're sitting at a bar and that ancestor is hanging around you, it's going to get in that moment. Because a lot of spirits are just hanging around, but they're here. That's why people can feel things and see things, or if you're in a really low vibrational state, you see things move in your house or whatever. But it's all vibratory and frequency. So without that concept of religion, you still have concept of natural law and order, cosmic law and order. So it's okay. But yeah. So everybody goes somewhere. It just depends. That's why Earth can be a school, Earth can be a prison, or Earth can be where you come back to teach. Earth can be many things. Physicality. Okay, that was it.
I like that. That was nice. That was nice though.
So is it?
Poetry.
Hey, we got some people in the chat too saying dope and Parissa Evans is apparently real high. So
Nice.
Shout out to the people on the moon. We the cosmic cast. Hey. Yeah. There we go.
They
What
dropped the
about the
lights
team
on
on
it.
Turner? No.
Yeah.
Pastor Dutchie Marissa.
But yeah, shout out to everybody in the chat. Make sure you hit that subscribe button.
For real, for real.
Yeah. Each and every Sunday you can catch us here. But yeah, so I feel what he's saying because I don't think that you were even able to wrap your head around the concept because you even said everybody believes in something. But he's saying, no, everybody don't. Like, some people believe it's lights out.
But like he said, if they believe their body decomposes and go back to Earth, even some people believe that. That's why I'm saying like different things happen for different people.
Another question on that topic. Do your beliefs shape what happened after you die?
I believe so.
Right. I mean, and I asked that in the sense, yeah. So, because I mean, okay, I think of the concept. Sometimes I think of things like genocides, for example, mass bodies, mass murders, things like that. Like that happens a lot, really quickly at one time. Are all of those people automatically recycled into new bodies in different places, or is it in different dimensions, or you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Does the question make sense?
There are people who, when they die, it's like especially, I mean, we listen to rap, and rap is like a big joke. Like, oh, yeah, when them bullets start flying, you going to be calling for Jesus or something like that. Mm-hmm. When stuff happens, like, even if you believe, I have friends who only believed in science. I have friends that were complete atheists. I believe in nothing. Something going to happen in life, you know what I'm saying, where, like, you going to get in a jam. Jelly or strawberry or apricot, pick which one you want. But you're going to get in a jam for sure. And it's going to shift. If you don't believe in nothing, like, you're going to have to shift because not believing in anything is going to leave you hopeless. Like, there's no avenue or lane to have hope if you don't believe in anything. Because, like, even all beliefs, whether you believe in science, there will be a new technology. If you believe in, like, the spirit of, like, the universe will provide, like, the energy back to you because, like, it's like a sine wave. You have ups and lows. If you believe in Christianity, Jesus, God, gonna save you. If you, whatever it is, and you believe in something stronger, there's something to hope for. Versus if you don't believe in nothing, what do you have to hope for? How can you fathom a miracle? You don't believe in nothing.
Right.
I do believe it shapes because my definition of reality, if you remember, is what you believe to be true.
Yeah.
Right? So just by following that same path, yes, what you believe in, determines where you go because you can take an extremist like somebody who does kamikazes and go and die, like they in the middle, they think they're serving some type of honor. And we over here, they're committing suicide, they're going to hell. Right? Because suicide is automatically hell. Do you think they're going to hell? Like, do they think whose reality are we going to say? In my reality, they go to hell, but in their own, they going to heaven? Because do they believe in heaven? Do they think they coming back as a king? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
You know?
I do. I completely agree with that.
I think also there's something that's really interesting about, like, so for me, I sort of see it as like, okay, yeah, I could see it where, like, you know, life and death is just like steps in our path of our journey. You know, we have a life here, a death here that takes us here, and it's like, you know, exiting the game and starting a new game. And each new game could be a different planet, it could be a different life in a different country, or maybe it could be literally the next life in that whatever, like, somehow, right? All these circumstances are unique to part of that, I think, like, that person's mental and part of, like, what they've set up for themselves in either previous lifetimes, or, you know, there's a higher sense to this, because if that is possible, that there is this step, then now we have to look at the meta structure of what is facilitating this energy to create this to occur, because there has to be some cosmic law of physics that is making the energy have the grasp and potential to even move matter in such a way that it creates the vessel possible to be inhabited by our consciousness, right? Like, there's all this that comes together, right? So the meta-analysis is that, okay, then there are these laws of reality that are just not necessarily unchangeable, but they are just there already, right? So that's like, for example, the physical reality, right? Then what is the higher aspects of this? There's higher aspects or different laws that we find throughout life, I think, that, like, connect us to like part of that other dimensional source, but we don't even know it because we're the natural state of the third dimension that we're, like, in.
So who can tell us what's real,
oh, man,
though?
it's so,
because in that aspect, we have to say it's still what I believe, though, because this is something that people have to die to experience, or have to, like, you actually have to watch somebody's soul. Or do we have the ability to watch somebody's soul? Do we, like, all the way? We have mediums. We have people who talk to the people in the afterlife. You know, we have stuff like that, but are we watching a soul from the time it dies to where it goes, to the channel it goes through? So
I think maybe something that actually goes with that is some answers might be better explained through experience than, like, words or, like, sight, because it's like when we go through that process, it's like I kind of see what you're saying, like, when we, like, ask for, like, an answer, and then what comes as an answer might not be in words, it might not be in this or that, it might not be in what we think, but, like, it's the answer in itself.
Well, I'm not denominational, so when you talk about believing in things that you can't see, that's me. I believe in God. So you can't see that, man. That's our faith. And so when you talking about stuff like that, understand, I can't be a hypocrite that way, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I still say that you, again, so I gave the example earlier that if somebody was cheating on me, just please don't let me find out. It's not a part of my reality. Don't make me unhappy, stressed, and possibly break up my relationship. Just cheat and be in peace. I never know. let me reap the rewards from it, and no warts, nothing like that. Good. All right. So I'm also a person who believes that if someone tells me a tree fell in the forest and nobody was around to hear it, and they ask me, did it fall? I'm going to say, no. Prove to me it fell. What you got, video? Nobody was around.
That's not what I thought you was going to say.
Like, no. Like, no, you got to prove it to me. So when we're talking about these concepts of afterlife and what is afterlife, or what happens when we die, I'm going to say, yeah, it goes on what you believe in, because your reality is what you believe to be true. So it don't matter which way you break it down, protons, neutrons, channel waves, paths, it's whatever you believe to be true, because whatever I say, I'm going to go home and think what I'm thinking, versus you, and you know, who going to go home and pass how you want to pass. you know, all of us in this room, we can agree all we want to, but when we go home, we still gonna have our own concept of what happens in the afterlife.
Question: what if, like, let's say me and you, we live in two different places in the wilderness. There's no frequencies from technology and all of that, and we are working on all of our inner, you know how we have chakras and our bodies are.
I would like to say this will never be us.
Hold on.
Me.
Hold on. I have a real question. And let's say our chakras are spinning at top. You know what I'm saying? They're at top performance. All of our organs are at peak performance. We healthy. We drink water every day. We ground ourselves in Mother Earth, and we sit out in the sun. Like, we are in peak health performance, right? Mm-hmm. And when we dream, we lucid dream, and we meet up, and we are able to show each other, like, where we gonna go when we die. Let me show you where I'm from, like a cosmic home trip. You know what I'm talking about? What if? And I believe that's real. I believe that can happen, but you do have to be at peak performance with your soul, mind, spirit, all that kind of stuff. Gotta be working in
Jesus went in the wilderness, and he had to be in
places, baby.
You done got abducted
a few times. You know what I mean? But I'm saying, if something like that, if you believe something like that is real, then there's a possibility that we can all get to a place where death don't even exist no more, because we just ascend and we go home when we go to sleep, and we take each other places and we talk to each other. And you want to know, let's say all the communications was cut out, but we go to bed and go meet and go visit our grandmother.
So is that the negative thing? Is that a negative concept that we constructed?
I think people constructed
It's
death.
just physical.
Death. It's the physical.
It's a physical process. That's all it is.
Like, is it because some people die in pain? Some people die by reason of the criminal justice system. Some people die violently by, homicide.
But that's all within bloodlines.
Associate death with negativity.
I'd like to say yes to that, because everybody dies by human logic, right? Like, it doesn't matter how you die, it's always going to be by human logic. Whether you accidentally drank something you had no business drinking and that was your last sip of whatever, or somebody, hurt you because of whatever reason, it's all because of human logic. So it's like we've assigned a lot of negativity because it makes us feel bad. Right? So it's like, oh, damn, I've lost my significant other, my family member, etc. This shit hurts. It feels really bad. So yeah, we don't really fuck with it like that, especially in this country.
Right.
But it's not as bad as it seems, because it's literally just a physical process. You know what I'm saying?
In the States, that is bad. I see videos, people die, bro, they be going up.
But do you know what I disagree with? That's why I disagree with news and things of that nature, because it's like all of us come from different families, different ancestral lineage, different bloodlines that have different karmic debts within the earth. So everybody's not gonna, when you see somebody get hurt, or when you see somebody die in a certain way, or then you see somebody make it to 80 and then they go and they peacefully and they sleep. It's like, what constitutes who gets to do that? And it's all based on those bloodlines and debts. That's why when you get into Yeshua, when he made that cosmic sacrifice, as I like to call it, he opened it up to pay those karmic debts off for lineages, so that he could then have our obedience, so that we can move forward in our ancestral lineage. Like, so our lineage doesn't die out like that.
So you're saying those with a heavy cosmic death die? I mean, a
Like
heavy
karmic
death
can die in
hard
terrible
deaths?
ways, and then there are because then you got to think about the fact that you're put here to work for
But
those karmic debts.
but dying in terrible ways. See, that's a construct that we've created, like due to
You
pain
just die.
Yes.
Yeah.
and things like that. And also, we created another bad when we talk about hell, because if everybody gets to the point where they just ascend, we've created these negative people. So are negative people going to ascend with us?
There's always going to be positive and negative, and if they're not ascending, when some don't ascend, they're coming back through so they can get to the point of their ascension.
I mean, I have to ask then about the innocent bystander, the 11-year-old kid on the corner that accidentally got hit by a straight bullet.
We don't know.
You know.
Like, that's what I'm saying. We don't know. And when I say we don't know the karmic debt of of the family or the bloodline. I'm not saying so that's what they get. I'm saying we don't. That was still an innocent child. It was still bad.
I'm just trying to
that's why we
understand.
know reality is like real, quote unquote. And I say reality, not fake, but it's malleable. But what I'm saying is we don't know what that mother or that grandmother did or paternal lineage didn't cover, and then that child is sitting there uncovered, which is why Yeshua covers a lot of like overall sin. It gets deeper. I'm trying to figure out how to do it.
I would like to challenge the thought of there's always a positive and negative, because of course, I don't get too deep in religion, but I talk about, I'm non-denominational, so I believe in the concept of heaven and hell. Okay, when there's heaven, there's no negative.
When I say there's always a positive and negative, I mean in the earth realm. That's how our poles are set up. So there's all, and the spiritual realm is going to be set up the same way. Now, when we come to New Earth, when New Jerusalem comes, that's going to be different sacred geometry, a different setup. It won't be poles. It might whatever God got planned for New Earth. But how this realm is set up, the cosmic computer and such, is positives and negatives.
But there's no negative in heaven.
Because the opposite is below it, as above, so below. It's below it. It's not there. If it
so it's
isn't,
still a concept of positive and negative. It's just
that's the way this heaven and earth is set up.
Remember, balance, like we were talking about earlier, balance is what creates a reality, right? So I think in that having the heaven and the hell, or, as above and as below, in between that, actually here, you create a reality. Now, it's a basic reality, right? And this is what we all know as our world, our galaxy, our universe, and et cetera. Kind of getting really granular with that, us as individual people. So there has to be, I guess, a thought pattern that deals in positive and negative. And that's kind of how we're wired automatically. Okay, if I'm up during the daytime, what's the positives in that, right? If I'm up at night, what are the negatives in that? Like, we automatically assign a positive and negative. Night, people know, way back in the day, people know that nighttime is dangerous. You can't hunt at night. You getting hunted. During the daytime is when you can benefit yourself and the rest of the tribe, or whatever the case may be. So we automatically started assigning, like regular little psychological conditioning, we are automatically started assigning positives and negatives to things.
Damn.
This is why the producers aren't on the show.
That was good, though. That was good. I didn't even think about that. I never thought about that.
But
I think some confusion too can be seen in it, but what it led me to see was that heaven and hell can also be here right now, in a sense of like beingness, right? Because if we just look at that story from like the in that sense of the biblical story of it, right? Like, he was in hell, he was tortured, he was all this stuff, but the positive that came out of that was the sacrifice for others, right? So that's like a story that we could see and maybe attribute some of our like metaphysical knowledge to, like, and see and learn from. I think there's a lot of stories in history in general that also show like a very beautiful like metaphysical analogy that allows you to understand like life a little bit better sometimes, because that's sometimes what we need, like, because we don't know how to move this body to make the thing that we want happen sometimes. Like, for example, some people want to go be in Punta Cana right now, or some people want to be in Paris, some people want to be in South Africa.
I'm trying to have all that. I want to go all those places.
How do I move this body to be able to get there? Obviously, one could say, oh, just walk, take the train, take the bus. Okay, cool, but then you have all these other dimensions of thought that we are pinned and held by, or we choose to be held by. And that is a part of our reality. And I think that's like what reality is. It's a choice in this lifetime.
Not that reality is a choice. Not that we got, okay. So I think reality, I just presidential
For
campaign.
real, I like how he said dimensions
Yeah.
of thought. That's the Matrix. They're just all these intertwined dimensions of thought.
Drake's for president.
Man, hello.
But I think that also still strengthens the answer that the way we die is shaped on, based on what we believe in, because we still can't get through this concept of positive, negative, which I didn't realize I was a slave to.
I think a lot of what it comes down to is, I strongly
What did
believe
you
that, I strongly believe that everything is made of vibrations, right? Everything's got its own vibration. That's why we're able to identify and separate and categorize and label and all of this other stuff. I feel like religion and your beliefs, anybody's belief, is a method, a tool, a technique used to increase those vibrations, especially in a time where it's a high stress situation like a possible death. You know what I'm saying? So like you're getting ready to die, you pray, you whatever you need to do to increase your vibrations. You accept death as a whole. You know, if there's no religion to believe in, you're like, oh well, you know what? This is just what happens to the human body when it's that time sometimes. You know what I mean? Whatever has to happen for you to feel okay with what's taking place, that's a method to boost your vibrational frequency. And when you boost your vibrational frequency, I mean, that's just specifically for that like extreme situation. But let's say we're talking about wanting something, right? Manifestation. You increase your frequency in regards to whatever it is that you want, and you start attracting the things that are putting you on the steps to get there, kind of like we discussed the last time.
Right.
But that's where it gets tricky for me, is because I look at it like, imagine everything, there's a cloud surrounding the Earth, for example, heaven, you could put it that way. But
Okay, so I'm picturing Dragon Ball Z.
no, so nothing crazy.
When
Like
they
this.
run on the cloud.
So no, okay, so this cloud itself is made of energy, and all this energy is basically every single human soul that's been here, past, present, and future, right? And it just to make it make sense, like this is where all that vibrational energy goes. When somebody dies, it goes back there.
It goes to
and
the
then,
cloud.
And it moves to, let's say it moves to China. That energy circles through the cloud, goes to China, and then it comes back to Earth in someone else's body, a newborn baby that has, but it could be in a different time
And then
frame.
we have
Like,
soul hackers.
maybe that I don't really.
When it goes to the cloud and it's trying to go through somebody else's.
There
brain,
are
they-
soul
Well,
hackers.
I don't imagine. I don't think it's a conscious thing. You
This
can't.
is what Apple came up with when they were talking about the iCloud. They said it's going to come up, and when you try to bring it back, they're going to have people waiting to take it.
But that literally is how things work. Like, that's why I was talking about those people that don't go anywhere and they just hang around. They literally wait for bodies. So when you have people who are open for quote unquote what religion would call possession, an ancestor will take control of that body and try to get back into the earth realm. If it's an ancestor that didn't make it anywhere, quote unquote anywhere.
All right, so let's do last comments on reality. Go ahead, Chef.
Reality can be a multitude of things, but it's mostly a medium and channel.
Okay, you sounded super deep. Interesting.
For real.
Okay, Mimi, so last comments on reality.
Reality is it's a lot of different things for a lot of different people. That's what I feel. And it's an ecosystem. Just like the real world is an ecosystem, the unseen world is an ecosystem. There's different things going on.
Okay, last comments on reality. Drinks. Simply.
Sometimes when you look at a wall and you punch it, there might be a beam there. There might be just nothing behind it. You could choose to make that hole bigger, and you can walk through it. That is reality.
Breaking my brain.
Last comments on reality, Mr. Victor E.
Reality is the balance between thoughts and action.
My goodness.
See, if you don't put that on the back of a book.
For real. Beautiful.
Okay. Okay. So, I think reality is situational. I feel like when I die, the whole reality disintegrates like a VR game. And, excuse me, sir, if you
I'm
ever
so
got
sorry.
a
I
pen
couldn't
on
help
my-
it. I did everything I could.
And she's like, I'm back.
I tried to do that thing. It didn't work.
Yeah,
Sorry.
so I feel like the whole world disintegrates and reality is only what I say it is because I rule this and I'm Mother Alien and we will catch y'all next time.
Oh yeah, we have some comments from
Wait,
Zuyan
let
Trin.
me not- let me-
Yeah.
can I get the-
We got some comments from. So, do you want to read through it?
Oh, y'all can read through them.
Yeah. Well, I want to answer Zuyan Trend's question real quick about how.
Hey, shout
what
out
do I
to
believe
Ian,
in?
That's a regular in the chat. You know.
That's a regular in the chat. Okay,
Mhm.
let me see.
Who?
So, ooh, y'all, I ain't got my glasses on.
He said stop from the top.
Okay, tormented by gnomes.
Yes, that's one one of my friends from the streaming community out in Twitch. So
Hey, shout out to the streaming community that follows. I call y'all little Drakey. We have Fuchsia D saying that we're dope. Greetings, greetings, greetings. Thank you. We have Carissa telling us that she real high and we stay high. No lie. You know this. Yeah. So, we have Santiago Dunbar. Hey, shout out to the Alien Gang. Who is Parissa? We need to get her on the show. Come through, Parissa. You can always come. Mother Alien is too far from the mic. Hey, can you hear me now? Dang, y'all should have told me that. Third Eye said, I'll Snapchat for Beat and Mimi to kiss. Super chat.
He's trying to pay the bills.
So here's the
My
thing.
guy.
Here's the thing. We feel free to super chat all you want.
Kiss out right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, why they get him like
there you go. We're in super chat now. Come on.
This went from what's reality to what happens after you die really fast because the reality is we die and it happens really fast. So, yeah, that is the reality. There's a reality when you're alive and there's a reality when you're dead. Thank you.
Next question.
So we have Zion Tran. What does Victor have to say about consciousness versus reality?
Good question. What do I have to say about consciousness versus
Simply.
reality? Simply, of course. Consciousness is a tool to determine reality, right? Consciousness comes in two forms. You've got the five senses, but you've also got the nervous system, right? Those are both physical. You've got your five senses, but you've also got the logic behind it, the understanding, the ability to problem solve. Those kinds of things they work together in tandem to identify the world around you. I hope that was simple. All right.
Simply, he said Alice in Wonderland was a real movie. Based on the 3 little pigs and 3 blind mice. That's what he said. So
okay.
That's what happened. Also, what does Drex believe in? What do you believe in, Drex?
I already said that I believe in.
These nuts. Okay, so yeah.
Nah, he said what religion does Mimi Soul have? Yeah, I'm a follower of Yeshua. Boom. I
And
just want to
what?
answer that.
Yeah. Yeah, she
No,
a
that was-
follower
yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
And the question is for everyone. So what do you believe in, Chef?
My homies Lee and Tran, I believe in God. All right, it's probably not flashy or nothing, but yeah, I'm Jesus gang.
Gang, gang.
Gang.
And Victor E.
The natural laws. That's the way to put it. The
Simply.
natural laws.
Simply
Gang,
the
gang.
natural
That's still
laws.
gang, gang.
And producer, what do you believe in?
I believe in booty.
I want to answer that question. I will say
Simply.
I act as if God exists.
Straight like that.
You
And
what?
I
of people
believe
do, yeah.
Jesus died and rose again on the third day. Yep, I do. And y'all can crucify me for it because I'm a minority now in this world of lots of beliefs.
You good?
Y'all do that yesterday.
Ain't no crucifixion here. Left that shit
Only
in the
love.
shed.
Yeah.
Only love.
Do I gotta do it? Hold on.
All ascended masters
Hold
is
on.
the same.
Somebody please help me.
Please,
She getting there, but
somebody help me.
It's looking better. Alright, and with that, I want to thank everybody who came through and commented. We'll be right back right here next Sunday. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and swipe that like button, tap subscribe. Yeah,
True.
yeah.
Do all that, all that,
And
all
we'll
that.
see you next week.
Check us all out.